Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is our chess program on POT TV. My name is Sasha Star. It's our first show in the new year, and our guests today are Professor Ken Regan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me on again, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, and also Professor Dan Fleetwood. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Hi, Sasha. Hi, Ken. Happy New Year to both of you.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. And today, obviously, we are going to talk I just finished in New York, World Chess Rapid and Blitz.
Right.
It's a quite interesting tournament, including even the Gene's, would it call it a scandal or sort of a friendly reminder who is FIDE and who is Carlsen and how they're going to take it out upon each other in next year or two or maybe more. And then finish of this tournament where I was trying to compare it to, let's see, for example, the World Cup soccer final, let's see, France, Argentina. And at some point, both teams said, okay, that's enough. We are going to be co-champions from now on. And can you imagine the 2 billion people around the world who were watching this match? And they said, no, you don't need it. There are 2 co-champions. And interesting enough that it was initiated by the same Magnus Carlsen. So, Ken, I would like to ask you, what's your reading on that co-champion business?
Yes, well, actually, let me bring up a take that you might not have thought about. Someone mentioned the interference that this caused on betting. People who had compiled books and taken bets on a winner of the match. And what do you do when there is no winner? The answer in the post I saw on X is that it invalidates the entire bet.
Yeah, it's a push.
It's a push, and
Yes.
bookies have to return everything.
Absolutely.
So net loss. So that's one. I'm not necessarily a fan of the great proliferation of sports betting, and it's whole radio programs have been taken over by it. But it is a sign of being in the regular time nowadays that there's betting on chess. So betting needs a winner. Well, so that's a bit of a cop-out way of just stressing one aspect of the sporting part. So anyway, so I will say that I am on balance dismayed. I mean, I understand the psychology of it from both Nepo's and Magnus Carlsen's point of view. But and maybe so the one exception that's recognized is in things like the Olympic high jump competition, where the rules expressly provide that in certain cases the athletes can agree to share the medal. And it's understood that physiologically they are no longer at a stage where the winner would be meaningful. I don't think you can say the same about chess, especially blitz chess. But I don't know. That's the one way I can see it to justify this.
No, I think that the cornerstone, in my opinion, is that 2 players, especially, and I wouldn't trade them in proportion of 50-50, but I would say Carlsen at least has 75% saying, and he initiated this outcome. It's hasn't
there when he was about to have white. So yes.
even so.
Yeah.
You see, what's happened is that all rules of FIDE, which are of much more importance than the dress code and jeans issue, that has been absolutely killed at the whim of Magnus Carlsen, and FIDE didn't find anything better than agree to that and say, yeah, okay, that's the world we are living in. So then, what about all this FIDE posturing and rules and regulations when one person can dismay all of that? What makes sense then of all these FIDE rules and regulations? Dan, what's your opinion about this outcome?
Well, I mean, there were certainly echoes of the professional chess players' attempt to break away from FIDE in the 1990s, but it seems like the situation is a bit different now. In this case, I'm not really, I don't know that Magnus so much necessarily wants to break away. I think he wants FIDE just to acknowledge that his input should be weighted more heavily than kind of the collective leadership is currently doing. And he's not the first champion to have done this, right? I mean, Fischer wanted to have his way. So, a lot of kind of generationally strong players, Kasparov, generationally strong players tend to believe that that they should be that they should have more, that their opinion should have more weight into how things are done. And if Magnus wants to show up in a nice looking jeans and jean jacket outfit, he feels like he should be able to do that, or here's mud in your eye. And so that's what he did. And I think that without the jeans incident, we don't have the shared blitz title. So here we are.
Yeah.
You think so? So you see the relationship between the jeans accident and the outcome of
Oh, I think it's completely causal.
Oh, I think so. Yes. I mean, the larger thing of, embracing also the freestyle chess tour is the issue of not just Magnus Carlsen, but also chess.com's relation to FIDE.
Yep, absolutely. So we live in interesting times.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, let's now see some of this creativity of chess players during this championship.
You'll see some games. Yeah. So I've queued up 3 games, and I'm going to go Volodar Murzin, then Humpy Kunuru, and then back to Carlsen Nepo for that. So let me share my screen, and so let's see if I can get the tab that I want. Let's see. I'm not sure this is the yes, this is the first tab that I want. And this game actually, so let me know when you see Volodar Murzin as black over Praggnanandhaa as white in the penultimate rounds. This was really decisive for the leadership in the tournament.
Yeah, we see the position, and this game
Right.
was just really devastating for Prague.
Right. It was devastating for Prague. And there's also Jacob Agard posted about the sporting nature of this game in relation to playing championship chess at classical time controls. So, okay, so the Gioco Piano, except that white goes with an early d4 rather than playing d3. So this now becomes a line that I've played. Well, it would become a line that I've played if white took on d4 with the knight, although black's bishop is out to c5 early, so it doesn't actually transpose. So this is a really old line. This is 19th century chess. Black could have played bishop b4 check, but this is considered good because white's d-pawn does become a liability in some positions. So white shores up the d-pawn. Now black, both sides have free and easy development. White has a better center, but it's black's move. So black can do something here. And black decides to resolve one thing in the center and then attack the center anew. So with f6. So you could say that black is trying to seize the initiative in this position. The one other factor is that black's bishop on b6, after the trade on c3 especially, is really shut out. It's biting on granite because d4 is now no longer a liability for white. But still, we play chess. Now, again, black's bishop is buried by its pawn structure. So does that allow white to break open things on the king side of the board. And in fact, white has won a meaningless pawn for the time being. The real question is who's weaker on the king side, white from the pawn structure or black from the fact that white essentially has an extra piece on that side of the board. Okay, so white, it looks like white is entombing his bishop, but this is actually turning a weakness into some advantage and resolving lines. Okay, so we just play chess for a while. Now the engine says this is a mistake and says white should have just played the plan of staking a claim on the G file first. Now black has 2 rooks on the G file, which means that opposing on the G file would force white to trade both pairs of rooks without, say, being able to play a rook to G3, which would mean the trade improves white's pawn structure. So that would have been the advantage of playing rook G1 earlier. Okay, so now we trade queens. So we have this position, and white's extra pawn now is really beginning to be felt because white could play f5 for one thing. It's almost in some sense two extra double pawns because black's queen side is stunted. White played rook c1, I guess, to open more lines. It is the engine's top move, or was, fluctuates from time to time. So black white plays king forward, and that actually steps into white's c4, being a good move to create a second front, open lines. In this case, really embarrass black's bishop. Now black's bishop really is walled off. Cannot return to the game from a movement of the c pawns. So the only question is, will it be able to return to the game along the a5 to e1 diagonal? And those are precious words for the future because that bishop
no kidding.
will
Wow.
will be the decider. But right now, it's clinging for its life on a5 and really could have been trapped. Okay, so now white gets the b file. So the question is, can black do something with the king invading? And black's rook on the 7th rank. So here we go. Here comes black's king. White doubles, and now this move is objectively a mistake, and this f5 is the correct refutation of it. Black has allowed white's f pawn to become a monster, and now also the 3rd rank is opened once white's bishop moves, and that will allow white to get a rook to g3, which will completely shut off black's counterplay, or at least it should have. Oops! Oh, I did not mean to do that. I clicked something I did not mean to do. So let me put the game back.
Yeah, while you're getting the position back, I'll also note that white has a big time advantage in this position too. So really, everything is working in white's favor here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and so it should. Well, okay, yeah. So white is so f6 is perfectly good, and now let's see, is this the position where f7? Yes, so white should have thrown in the move f7 so that there's no mate threat on the g file. Okay. So the way to win this position is to play here, then play here.
Yep.
And now you can play this without black's doubled rooks coming to g1. Okay. And then after this, you actually don't have to do anything quick at all because black simply has no threats. You're simply going to pile up both rooks on the bishop. So the main line goes this, then rook d1, and now black can take this pawn because takes would be made on g1, but just very calmly round up black's bishop and it's over. So, but it's fast chess, it's blitz chess. It's not necessarily easy to see these things. So white played the key moves, unfortunately, in the wrong order. So white played this first of all to gain time is just gaining increment time. But now this is a losing move. And the problem is you're not gaining time anymore. You're lost. and the rest.
This is just really sad.
This is definitely really sad because even if you play f4, it's rook g1 check and mate next move. So, so there's nothing. So the only thing White could do was sacrifice the exchange. But this is you got your bishop to g3, but all it does is prolong the agony. Black has sacrificed a rook, but it's now making a queen, and Praggnanandhaa resigned. So the point is that Jacob Agard wanted to make is that we know we're hunting down Black's king. Okay, so if you play f7 and rook c8 and then check, now Black can't go to f3 anymore because the bishop discovered check will win the rook on f8. So it's just choosing one of these squares on the c file, and whichever that allows rook d3 check, whichever square it is. White is all the time in the world to close a mating net, as Black has no threats. So at standard chess, or maybe even rapid chess with like 4 minutes left, the White player would have seen this, but at Blitz, even with 40 seconds left, did not. So I don't even comment on the sporting aspect of that.
Yeah, I mean, just horrific things sometimes happen in Blitz.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all experienced them.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the almost tragic video of Vasily Ivanchuk at the end of his game with Naroditsky, basically collapsing at the end of just not physically being able to get the moves out fast enough to realize the win. And you could just see all of those emotions just pour out, and very, very understandable.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He grabbed the pawn with check. So yeah, I'll look for that. Yes, it's also very much a
chess can be very cruel.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, but anyway, this was actually this was rapid chess. So it was
correct. But they were playing Blitz at the end, of course.
Yes, at the end they were playing Blitz. Yeah, but I should correct that. It was rapid chess. So the contrast is rapid versus classical. Anyway, so by the way, that was great for Mirza, and he stuck with the game, and he's now definitely someone who's entered the elite, along with Denis Lazovic, also of Russia.
Yeah, fabulous results.
Yeah, all fabulous results. Now this game was the key round 7 game by Humpy Koneru over Vantika Agrawal. Actually, I don't think it was round 7. I don't know the scores are. I thought this was round 11 or something. Let me just take a look. No, it does say round 6. Okay, I'm wrong. But anyway, this is definitely the game to show. I can mention in passing that. Actually, wait a second. Actually, yes, I do want to show this game. I had forgotten. I'm crossing my wires. So before I show this, I do want to show something from the penultimate round game of Humpy Koneru over. Round 10 was the penultimate round over Irina Sukander. Actually, it was the last round game. So I want to show one juncture from this game. I'll go through it quickly. Okay, so let me now. So actually, let me stop sharing and reshare the tab. Maybe I did have it. Oops. So, okay, right. I'm crossing my wires here. Okay. All right. So tell me when the board against. So she is Black against Irina Sukander. Koneru, by the way, lost her first round game and then came back. Okay, so is the board showing?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go fairly quickly through this. This is modern chess. Black can afford the time to play h6, and White can afford the time to play a4. Um, so, and then also the early trade. Dan, is the early trade on E3 really a good idea?
Unusual.
It is usual. Okay.
It's unusual.
Unusual. That's what I thought.
Unusual. Usually it comes somewhere between moves 8 and 12. This is early.
Yeah. And I always thought that that helps white more, especially when done early, to have the
Yeah,
open
it's
file
it's
and
it's
defend.
it's a totally different game here. I mean, it's it's one of those middle games where it probably favors the stronger player.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's a fair way to say it. And Kona is by rating and also by my estimated rating the stronger player, and it shows out at one moment in the rook endgame. Okay, but anyway, so we play chess. Black now, I would say here, black is clearly equalized though, and black in fact actually now is starting to get an advantage. So this is an interesting tactic to take on d3. White is able to win back the pawn, but black has adequate play, um, trading off pieces, and black is able to put pressure on white's pawns. So this is eventually going to become a clean win of a pawn by black. But you know, it's probably white should be able to organize the defense better than she did. Um, so the knight coming off c5 and then the follow-up king g1 maybe doesn't make sense. It allowed black to reactivate the bishop and take the knight and then pin white's pawn structure down. And this is a nice break. It actually did not dissolve white's weak d pawn. The weakness of having played a4 now shows, because that's what stops white from playing d5 to dissolve the pawn. So white takes a moment to support the pawn, but now rook d5 clamps down. And it's just a question of, can white force trades to create a drawing rook endgame?
So Ken, that's just a really important point that you just made, because white's a4 doesn't really fit with that early bishop exchange. If you're going to exchange the bishops, you don't really get the advantage of advancing the queenside pawns. You get the advantage of advancing the queenside pawns when you're going to play against that bishop that's going to be on b6.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
Actually, I'm noticing instead of b3, do you think a5 would provide better chances for white? At least trying to hold the draw.
Well, black plays rook f5, and then white can play b4, I guess. Although it's going to be very uncomfortable with both black's rooks pressuring both pawns. In fact, oh, here's something very beautiful. Let's take a look at this. So let's play your line.
Yeah. Okay.
And now let's say I do this.
Maybe rook b3 instead.
Well, okay.
But then you get stuck with the defense.
Oh, hello.
Yes, c5. So this would be,
I like that.
Yes, that would be fun. Yeah. So,
I mean, even though it doesn't really change the evaluation, it just looks horrific for white.
Yeah.
White would I don't know that white would find the right way through this. Yeah.
Yeah, rook c1 is at least, you know, getting some counterplay on an open file, but still,
it's pretty. Good luck finding that in a.
So the general point here, this may influence the psychology of how Irene Sukander defended at this point. By the way, white's pawns on the king side are loose too. So there's just general looseness in white's pawn structure. Now, so white decides to shed a pawn in order to simplify the position. So now white will be able to force off the two queenside pawns. Okay, and now, so we have this very, book position, the sort of position every Russian schoolboy should study, I guess you would say. And there's a very instructive trap that white falls into, a self-immolation. And it comes right here, okay? So white can take on h5, white can play h4, actually, which doesn't involve any weakness that black can exploit so easily. Instead, Sukander, with only 14 seconds here with only 14 seconds. It's showing tenths of seconds. Only 14 seconds left on the clock. Played this, and now white is actually losing because black has fixed a second plus
weakness
in the position.
Yep.
And now Humpy Konaru converted this in perfectly good style, as you'll see. Black is able to advance, and ways that white might have defended are not going to work ultimately because of the weakness of h3. If I were to look at the lines,
yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah. So okay, great play by Humpy Konaru, and so I did have her game with Vantika Agrawal. This was also very incisive play by her, again with the black pieces. Let's just go through this. In passing, Vantika Agrawal won the Arjuna Award in India. I think that's the Agrawal. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I should check that. But one of India's highest civilian honors, I think, for her performance in the Olympiad. So anyway, yep, normal position. White is actually doing well here according to the engine, though I don't know if I would panic as black here. Anyway, white dissolves her advantage a little bit, and the amazing thing is that although it looks like white is set up to attack and storm the king side, it's black who's going to succeed. So here we go, storming, and now again, white has a significant advantage, but here comes black's counterplay. Now, those are beautiful positions for white's knights. How on earth are you going to fight against that? Okay, so this is where white's position certainly is maximized in appearance, although it's not clear where the focus of white's position is. So,
I mean, it seems like if white can't just play like king h1 and rook g1 and hit with g5, that there's I mean, that's almost like an automatic plan in positions like this. So
yeah.
So
well, white does have a +2, but here comes black's counterplay. And again, this is rapid chess, but both players were down under 30 seconds already. So that also must be noted. And it turns out that grabbing the pawn is a mistimed move. Black, the rook's absence is going to be felt in the home sector, and black actually could have sacrificed on e5 right away. Okay, but I played this. White now decides to win 2 pieces for a rook, but it's actually miscalculated. So it turns out the knight b5 looks very solid, but it takes away from the defense of white's king side. So queen d2 was the better way to go, and now Konaru pounces, and already black is better. Here we come on the king side, and now it's interesting, just for the sake of chess, that this is really lost for white. Equal pawns all on one side, but the squares are just too open, and white cannot really defend h3. So. And Vantika Agrawal gave up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
However, so congratulations to Humpy Konaru on her win, and
that was a fantastic result for her. Yeah, absolutely.
On her win in the blitz. But now let's go over to the men's blitz and look at the.
Did Konaru win the blitz or the rapid?
She won the rapid.
Rapid. I think Ju and Jun. Yeah.
Won the blitz. So okay, so let's just see if I have the right. Okay, I think I have the right one here. Yes, I do. Okay, so the blitz had 2 stages for the first time. 13 rounds in the open section determined 8 qualifiers, and the 8 qualifiers determine themselves by drawing on the top boards. That's another subject that we could address. but then set up the incredible drama of Carlsen versus Neiman, and Neiman took the lead in round 2. Then Carlsen came back and began a very powerful sequence of 7 wins in a row. Okay, so at this point, we thought, Carlsen was going to put away the match, and he really should have done it in this game after losing the third game of the match, but it didn't happen. So the French defense was played in several key games, and there is this innovation of playing for an early c3 by putting the knight on e2 earlier than normally happens in the closed Tarrasch French. So now a3. So white is intending to play b4, which
we're not seeing the
board yet. Not seeing the board yet.
Yeah, I'm only seeing it in my head.
Okay, all right. So, okay, so the should I try once more? Let's see. Okay, let me try once more. Okay, so present, share screen, and it's this tab. No, now I got the other tab. Okay, never mind. That's interesting. It cycles. Okay, present, share screen, and it's this tab. Okay, that's correct. All right, so now see if we see a French position on the board.
Still not seeing it.
Still not seeing it. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So do we just scroll back to what I was showing? Okay, so the early knight e2, c3, and then a3 is a strategy that I know to employ in the advanced French as well. White is ready to play b4, and black should take action because b4 will be a bind if black allows it to happen. So the two ways to take action are to play c4, but then white's kingside actually is probably more advantageous than in the normal advanced French, where white would still have a knight on b1, or to play a5, as black in fact did. And now a4, now white cannot play b4, but white expands on the king side as generally happens. And this maybe opening strategy needs to be reviewed. This is one thing a little too committal on the queen side, and white should take on c5 and play knight h5 and knight d4, and then so this gave black a moment of respite. But still, white, I think, has a comfortable advantage. White is overprotecting the center, doing everything white is supposed to do in the French. Black is not able to trade off the light squared bishops on b5 or otherwise. So black goes ahead with some counterplay. The engine says more incisive is to play bishop c2 and menace a4, and well, it picks up a pawn. But maybe that's not really the spirit of how white should play in the French. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with the move that Carlsen played. Now white has the advantage that could have had earlier, according to the engine, with knights on h5 and d4. And so Nepo decides to go fishing in muddy waters. And here again is a case where the engine wants to grab a pawn on g7, but no human player will
Really?
play that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, the engine says,
I don't know if I would even do that in correspondence chess with a few days to check it. I mean,
I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
Oh my good Lord.
Yeah.
That looks to be insane.
I think so.
I mean, I see kind of maybe the tactical justification with bringing the bishop up and maybe even supporting the bishop with the pawn and having an outpost on g7, but goodness sakes.
Yeah.
No, but it's unclear what white's plan. What white can do to increase its powerful position. It's very unclear to me. Maybe knight g7 is good move simply because there are no other good moves.
Well, Carlsen chose the plan of opening the queen side to attack black's king. So this after getting black's queen to withdraw, and then b3, we exchange some pieces. Positionally, this helps black because now black's bishop on d7 has a life. And there it is. It goes to c6. But white is, just going to pressure against the squares on black's king side. Here we go. Black is attacking. White is attacking. Now that the white got the f6 square anyway for the knight. And okay, so queen there. And now white plunges in, but plunging in is wrong. So it turns out that just to keep equality, white should play bishop f4 and then play queen a7. That sticks something in the way of the entry of black's queen. And then apparently white will eventually get a perpetual check. Instead, this enables black to counterattack.
Oh.
Yeah, now bishop f4 to force control of b7, but this is a miscalculation. So here we go. So one of the great little combinations, it'll be in anthologies, Nepo with a minute left in the blitz. I was watching in real time, the commentator saying, is Nepo going to find this? He does.
Yep, he does.
So now you don't want to do the obvious rook g8 check, because then white's king escapes to f1. Instead, there's this amazing move. If white captures,
how he found this, I mean, that's just board vision. Wow.
Yes.
Again, it's the only move to continue the fight. Everything else is not good enough.
But it's also completely winning, because if white takes the knight,
And by the way, it's winning as well.
So Carlsen actually resigned here. The other point being that if white captures with the queen, then this is a discovered check. And then, well, the most natural move is go king f1, and now you can give some checks, but there's not going to be any perpetual check in this position. So Carlsen resigned. So that was great find by Nepo, and reward for playing an uncompromising approach as black. Well, of course, he needed a win in this position. So he had to play that way. But anyway, it gets us back to Nepo. My statistics say both Carlsen and Nepo played really well, distinctly well, along with Murzin in the blitz. So Murzin, by the way, made some noise. He lost to Nepo. He qualified for the knockout stage, but lost in, was it the semis or the quarters? I had to look to Nepo.
Right.
But anyway,
that was very interesting finish of 2024. Somewhat controversial, but nevertheless very entertaining, a very well played event. And we're looking now forward to 2025. And we'll see what other interesting tournaments, matches, and actions we're going to witness in New Year. In the meantime, I would like to thank you very much for today's program, and see you same place, same time next week.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody, and have a great weekend.
I'm sending out my New Year's greetings only now, and that'll include one to you and Rob Scherer about the Timescape paper. So,
how fun.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All the best to everybody.
Right. Okay. Take care, everyone.
Yep. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, we're still here. Oh, yeah. So, okay.